We're live, Mr. Wade. To you, sir.
Good night. Good night. Good night to our Belizean people, both at home and abroad.
Good night, sir.
Again, welcome to our 193rd edition of Belizean Affairs. 193. And it's always a pleasure to sit in the company of Mr. Leonard Brackett, the
Same here, sir. Pleasure is mine.
the shipwright, and we should be joined uh, shortly by Gregory Brackett, another shipwright. So, as we in this festive mood, we'll try to make our program tonight festively, and at the same time, we will speak about the issues at hand in our country because we cannot let down. You know, we live it, we eat it, we breathe it. So we got to talk about it. What's really going on in our country, because Leonard, we are about people and nation, nothing else. We are about seeing right and want right and call out wrongs if there is wrong to be called out, and we offer solutions. We bring solutions, right? So um, also we are not about uh, PUP agenda or a UDP agenda, right? We are about change. We want change. We want to see some change in the country, right? So we voice our concern in that way, what we would like to see happen and what we are tired of. For decades it's the same old. But we'll get into that. But it's always business as usual. We will start with a prayer, and I want to welcome Mr. Leonard Brackett
Thank you very much,
to
sir.
lead us in prayer.
I'll just roll my head for a minute or two, sir. Divine loving Father, thou who art the creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, into thy hands we commend ourselves, asking thee that thou mayest continue to guide and protect and bless us. We wish to express our gratitude for you having given us the privilege of life, first and foremost, and secondly, the opportunity to still be alive today among our family members, friends, and loved ones. Please continue to bless them, each and every one of them, as they were mentioned by name and number. We pray that thou mayest bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership, and that thou mayest bless this country of the United States, its people and its leadership. We pray that thou mayest continue to bless the rest of humanity, loving Father, especially those people who are in harm's way, where there is wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and volcanoes and hurricanes and flooding and all manner of devastation. We ask thee, loving Father, through the name of Jesus, that thou would continue to guide and protect and bless us. Help that this program may continue to be a focal point in the interest of our country of Belize, and that we may continue to advocate and speak, even truth to power when need be, and stay firm and committed to the idea of the well-being and security of our country of Belize. We thank thee for we ask these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Leonard, for that warm prayer. Real
Welcome, sir.
truth.
Welcome, Mr. Amaya.
Thank you. And I will do a reading from Ecclesiastes chapter 6, 1 to 10. It says, there is an evil that I have seen under the sun,
Mhm.
and it lies heavily on mankind. A man to whom God gives wealth, possessions, and honor, so that he lacks nothing of all that he desires. Yet, God does not give him power to enjoy them, but a stranger enjoys them. This is vanity. It is a grievous evil. If a man fathers 100 children and lives many years, so that the days of his years are many, but his soul is not satisfied, so that, not satisfied with life's good things, and he also has no burial. I say that a stillborn child is better off than he, for it comes in vanity and goes in darkness, and in darkness its name is covered. Moreover, it has not seen the sun or known anything, yet it finds rest rather than he. Even though he should live 1,000 years twice over, yet enjoy no good. Do not all go to the one place? All the toil of man is not, sorry, all the toil of man is for his mouth, yet his appetite is not satisfied. For what advantage has the wise man over the fool? And what does the poor man have who knows how to conduct himself before the living? Better is the sight of his eyes than the wandering of the appetite. This also is vanity and a striving after wind. Whatever has come to be has already been named, and it is known what man is, and that he is not able to dispute with one stronger than he. The more words, the more vanity. And what is the advantage to man? That's my reading from Ecclesiastes 1, chapter 6, 1 to 10.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Leonard, before we get into our conversation, is there something that you would like to bring to the forefront before we, get
Uh,
into our conversation for the night?
yes, sir. I just
Could
want
go
to say
ahead.
thank you very much for the opportunity accorded, Mr. Chairman, in allowing me to, on the front end part of your program for tonight, be given the privilege to expound a couple of or a few words, no? And I want to use that opportunity to say thanks to all those Belizeans at home and abroad, and even some non-Belizeans who have taken their valuable time to listen to what we have to offer on this platform of the Belizean Affairs show. We hope that whatever we have said, whatever we have expressed in actions, in our body language, whatever we have projected as part of our thought processes and our own inhibitions and interests as and concern as concerned Belizeans, that it may accrue to the enhancement and well-being and betterment of our country of Belize and our people. We do not come to this show to play games, to throw stones and hide our hands. We do not come to this show with ill intent towards anyone except those who would attempt to do harm to our people and country. Our patrimony is of great importance to us, and what we do on this program has nothing to do in terms of a political agenda by any one party, in specific the Tumas party and or any other smaller parties. Yes, as concerned citizens, we do delve in this program into matters of state, matters that are constitutional, especially constitutional breaches, matters that are supposed to be good governance policies, and at the end of the day, I can say safely that on this particular platform, myself included, Leonard Brackett, as well as Mr. Roody, who is tonight chairman, and Mr. Gregory Brackett, who was Monday night's chairman, that we are not beholden to anyone, and we are not respecter of any individual or entity. In other words, we tell it like it is. If you don't like what we're saying, it's your right to not like what we're saying, but it is not anyone's right to stop us from saying what we have a right to say. That is that our Constitution gives us the privilege to exercise our inalienable rights, our God-given rights, those rights that we are born with, that no government, whether any government on the face of this earth, have any such right or power or authority over, to the point where they can safely, within the limits of governance, derogate from us the right that we are born with. I don't know of any country on the face of this earth, whether it's a democratically aligned country or a non-aligned country or a religiously established based country or a republic or a kingdom or any of the forms of government that we on the face of this earth endure and imbue and have exercised for our governance purposes, that any of those states would not be privileged to exercise good governance. As a matter of fact, it is a constant demand of the population of this small globe on earth that all the governments do good government practices on behalf of its people, for whom they should be exercising and putting into effect policies of state that accrue to the well-being, development, enhancement, and caretaking of those people and their country or heritage or patrimony. So I just want to say thanks to those who listen to us. I hope that whatever we say and do accrue to the benefit, public benefit, of those who take their valuable time to listen to what we have to say. Thank you very much. God bless Belize and Belizeans at home and abroad. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Lee.
you. Thank you, Leonard.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you
sir.
for that input and speaking truth and calling it as you see it. Um, that's what we do on this show. That's what we do on our platform. We speak our mind, like you said, Leonard, and we exercise our God-given right. we exercise that. So, like you, when you do the Friday night show, Leonard, and you do have the constitutional hour, right?
Yes, sir.
At the end, I've always says that I urge Belizeans to get a copy of our constitution, and it, Leonard, and I will say this, my people, you could learn a lot. You could gain knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
because the same way the attorneys take it to court and the judges they interpret it and the politician try to tear it away, right? But the same way they read and understand, the same way, my people, you can read and get your own knowledge and your own understanding, right? Because words has meaning,
Mm-hmm.
and regardless of what the prime minister says that Belizean does not have talent, um, he has a reason why he says that, right? Poor guy. But get a copy of your constitution, right, Leonard?
Yes,
They
sir.
they could learn a lot, and they could know when their rights are being trampled on. They would know when justice is not given, and they could understand why it's not given and how it's not given, and then formulate your opinion and formulate, come to your own understanding as how you going to seek your justice in regards to the Constitution, because the Constitution is the Bible of our land. Just like how we have the Holy Bible of the world and different, congregation, different churches, and the Bible. They have but the fact remains it's a Bible. So it's the same thing that the Constitution of Belize. Everything you need to know in terms of being a law-abiding citizen is there, and in terms of what leaders should be doing is there,
Mm-hmm.
and we are all smart enough to know when they are not doing what they supposed to be doing. So please get a copy of your constitution, or you could download it too, Leonard. They could download that, go to the site and
I have a downloaded copy myself.
yes. So my people, I will, you know, express my ills right now, and I've always says, let us not forget, because when we forget, that's the time they do unto us, because they don't forget what we do to them, so make we do it again. But as for me, I've always tried to repeat it and think about what, especially I would say, Briseno had said 3 years ago or 4 years ago, what he was going to do
When you got
if
in
you
power.
elect him. See what he was going to do for you and the country if
Mm-hmm.
you elect them. So, as for me and on this program, we always try to remind him personally, what he had said. But if we shut him out, then you know what they say, Leonard? Past and present, it'll blow over like Wally breeze. Because Belizean will
Not
forget
in,
it.
not anymore, Mr. Wayne.
Yeah.
Not anymore, sir.
That's what, and they say it publicly, Leonard.
Yeah,
I remember the man Musa
that's
before
their
he died. That's what he
expectation.
said
That is their
publicly in the house
expectation.
of a ill that he was doing, and they called him out, right? He said,
And it
he
never blow
said
over like
no,
no Lee breeze.
is I, right?
So we are here
So
today. We're here today to verify and validate the fact that it never did blow over like a Lee breeze.
exactly.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Sorry for interrupting.
And Leonard, I know I say all the things, but I say one thing. Mr. Brisenio and your minions, you said you was going to enact UNCAC.
That is
Elect
it.
me and I will fix UNCAC. Man, Mr. Man, that are just one. You fail. You're a
Miserable.
liar. You liar
Miserable.
bad. Or maybe, oh, okay, sorry, I take that back. You might enact it the day before election. Right?
But as
So,
of right now, he's a congenital liar.
exactly, exactly. Well said. So, my people, as we are in the celebratory mode, right, we celebrate our 10th of September, right? Although some of the younger politicians, they don't have a clue about 10th of September. Some of them say we should not celebrate it. Okay, it not really happen, right? And not needed, right? So I don't know what kind of Belizean they are. But my people, all I beg, celebrate responsibly and do it with pride and patriotic. All that a hullabaloo in terms of that juvie thing, and you have the lady they dance up in the street, and one little 4-year-old boy they be kid there behind, and they encourage the little boy for the bump and grinder from behind, right? That make news. That's public knowledge right now. Shame on you, Miss Lady. I don't know who you are, but you should be charged, right? You should be charged for doing that to a 6 or 7-year-old kid, right? So all the things that no do to celebrate, do it responsibly, right? I mean, in my time coming up as a kid, we didn't know about. We never when they have people jump up in the street naked and all that, half naked and all that. We didn't have that, right? But now, the celebration gone to a whole nother level, right? And I say this to say, Leonard, is that the same way that these media houses, publicize these things, I would like for them to take that same energy and start to do some investigative journalism, right, on some of these leaders, right, and do it the right way, right? Do it the right way, right? Not just sweep everything under the rug, but the same way I want to put the emphasis on the celebration right now. Do it on our leaders, right?
Mr.
Because
Mr. Chairman, on that point, we would like to volunteer, and I would like to volunteer personally on this platform to provide whoever of those particular journalists that would like to undertake those endeavors the evidence, the materials, the facts, and maybe some encouragement to pursue such an agenda.
there you
Because
go.
apparently that is the only thing that keeps these gentlemen in check. When they know other people know their business, they know where their money there, they know who much they put in there, they know how much they have left, and you could show them and prove the point to them that they are not as far out or out of reach that people can't touch them when push comes to shove. I yield back, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Love FM, you got this frag raising thing where you go about over the entire country. They visit people's house and they solicit them and all that, and do what want to do to, for the who got the best flag and all that. The same way, go and do the same due diligence and investigate some of these leaders, right? Because some of these leaders, Leonard, and my people, both at home and abroad, are doing a very disloyal, uh, disservice, all the wrong things to our people, our nation, and taxpayers, okay? All the wrong things. Some of them are getting paid that they're not supposed to be getting the taxpayers' money, none at all, because they're deadhead, right? Deadhead. They're not doing nothing to uplift, or especially I'll say I'll throw this on the opposition, the paid, not the paid opposition of Belize. I know when start because it's public knowledge. We all know what they are involved in right now. Not the business of the people. The people.
Mr.
But
Chairman,
go ahead.
can I give him a little leg for the stool for make you got four leg instead of only three leg as regards to that point of the peer opposition. Do
Go
you
ahead,
know as
Leonard.
of today date that we are having this particular discussion? As of right now, this particular hour, minute, seconds that we are having this discussion, the so-called opposition that is paid by tax dollars money, by the way, and is supposed to be a loyal and effective opposition, is currently squabbling among themselves, and the leader that they don't want to be their leader is trying to power play the process to the extent of trying to tell the people in Congress that the party of itself have decided that certain individuals who belong to the party, for all intents and purposes, according to them, has left their seats on that side of the aisle and should belong in seats adjacent to any other aisle. I don't know how they try to figure that out. In the sense that those individuals should not receive payment for being an opposition. Because apparently the current leader of the opposition wants to be able to collect those monies and give it to subordinate individuals who are more beholden to him. Does he forget that Mr. Tracy Pantum had won that election that they declared in his favor? Or do I got to explain to them how they got it done? I'll yield back, sir. More to come from
Thank
where
you.
that came from.
Thank you. But as far as I'm concerned, these guys, I mean, the lady and the people who is trying to push out are elected by the
Exactly.
people.
Exactly.
Not him, nor Brisenia, nor the king or the queen could denounce that until the term is up. These people are elected by the people, not by Shine Barrow or Johnny Brisenio or right? No, by the people. However way they get, whether they pay for the vote or they get it freely, however they get it, they won their seats
What
and
this
they won
jackal
their
is
area, right?
what this jackal is attempting to implement or intend to convey is that he, as the leader of the party, who transgressed the constitution of the party in order to try and keep himself as leader, and subverted the requirements that they should have voters, they should have voting for leadership every 2 years, that he don't want to be contested. Therefore, the people that are demanding of him to follow the rules and the constitution, which I helped draft in its original state, by the way, for those who don't know. So don't think that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Mr. Golson, Mr. Maboyton, and myself were the three people who drafted the original constitution for the United Democratic Party. Okay? That's one little point on the side. The bottom line, not only did they defrauded Miss Panton, they were telling her that, oh, if she thinks that she could do any better, go ahead, go take the matter to the courts. When the damn well know that the court will not entertain any such political undertaking, because the political parties have a constitution by which the leaders of the party are demanded to comply. But some of them got together and decided to hell with the constitution. They're going to muzzle this process anyhow, demand that they get an agreement to supersede the constitution itself so that he can stay in power a little longer, hoping to be able to become prime minister. I already told him from the very first time he got elected, he may become, at that time I stipulated, the leader of the party, or even maybe become the leader of the opposition in government. But that he had no possible way of attaining 16 constituencies win under a UDP led by him in order for him to become the prime minister and leader of the country, much less to become a potential president of our future uh, Republic of Belize, which is why he was lending his own support to the existing prime minister, for him, the existing prime minister, to move forward with the changes in the constitution so that they can turn the country into a republic, so that he, by chance, when his turn come, then according to the schedule of one party in, one party out, and for 1 or 2 cycles, or maybe 3 at the extreme, that he will have this opportunity to not become only prime minister, but at some future date become a president of a republic of Belize. These jackals are only thinking about self-serving, personalized, petty politics. They're not thinking about the well-being and enhancement and development of the country. They're thinking about themselves. He's burnishing his credentials, and to hell with the country, and that I cannot abide. As I said, every time they see me in this country, they know something happened, they know something is happening, or something is about to happen. All I could say as of right now, stay tuned. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you again, for the public, right? For public consumption. But, we have always talked to Leonard about, the poor conditions of our so-called highways. I have always, well, for one, we've been talking about drive responsibly and, you know, um, do what the driver should do, right? It's not you alone on the road. And we have always talked, Leonard, about all the traffic accidents, the fatalities. I have lost loved ones, right, and on these highways,
Yes,
right.
sir.
Um, it's so sad to see how money gets squandered, um, not doing the right thing on these, to uplift the highways, to better off the road conditions. But yet they get millions, billions, and nothing good, nothing good
To
to be
show.
shown to the world as to see where the millions went and how it was spent, right? And every year, Leonard, you'd be surprised the amount of money goes into road repair and building roads. And the accidents, every other day today, again, there was a fatality there involving tourists SUV at the Jaguapa um, area there on the George Price
Western Highway.
Highway, right? Fatality upon fatality every day, right? You know the deaths that some of that these highways, I say earlier, I said this publicly, contribute to some of these accidents,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Very much
I
so.
drive, and the size of holes in the middle of the road, straight road where you could say, well, you're driving a normal speed of 55, 60 miles an hour, right? And you could see 3, 4 miles, right? But there are big potholes. You drop in on one of them hole, you don't see it in time, you get your tire blow out or your suspension goes out and you go off the road, and God forbid you run into another vehicle, right? And claiming lives every week, every week, 2 or 3 fatalities on our highway. And yet, you hear the Julius guy, we got the best highway, and we need so much millions to upgrade. And every time this dude goes and he gets all this money for upgrading roads, the worse it becomes. I'll just say this. If an area should get 50 load, they put 20. The other 30, ask him where it goes.
Somewhere else.
Okay? I just throw that out there. I don't specifically mean it could be I'm talking about money or stones or cement or steel or whatever. Does not go where it's supposed to go to do things the right way. All they do in this country, band-aid fixes.
But Mr. Wade, Mr. Chairman, weren't we told that the current government saved money on the previous government's project by cutting a 4-lane highway down to a 2-lane highway and save some money?
Leonard, I say this to say that public knowledge, to answer your question there, you see how much billions went into the coastal road? And all the best minds in planning that road, where are we at today? Where are we at? For those who traverse that road, knows it, knows what happens on that road, and nothing changed on that road. Better they may left it dirt road the way it was. Okay? And the rainy season just start, Leonard. Just start.
I see we have our third panelist in the background, apparently working on something else, so we'll just defer because he's able to bring himself in when he's finished and ready. Please proceed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay. Is Greg coming on?
Uh, he's in the background, sir, but
okay.
Go ahead because he.
So we talk about the celebratory mode that we are in. We talk about the highways, and we talk about drive responsibly and drinking and driving, and all the traffic accidents that happen, fatalities on a I would say daily basis. Then, my people, let's not forget we are still in the hurricane season, still in the hurricane season. The weather is still upon us. So be very mindful, protect yourself and your loved ones, because your minister and the government is not going to protect you. And COVID is still here. Remember all the hullabaloo that you have to wear masks and you have to this, you can't go in a no public place if you not show your vaccination card and with masks and all kind of thing. Remember when that may happen here in this country, and some people go to jail, they arrest people and all that, and you see how he died off, right? You see how he died off, and then put in the mindset that the people COVID gone. My people, COVID not gone no way. It's just that the money gone. They know they get goodies, right? That's all. And very simple, right? We don't need talent for that, right? So, we yet to have, Leonard, a government and our leaders and leaders in this country that will stand up to Guatemala, right? On the atrocities that they continue to do unto us, right? But at the same time, I want to welcome our next panelist, Mr. Gregory Brackett. My brother, good night.
Good night to you, Mr.
We went ahead of you, but glad to have you, always.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good night to you guys. As I said on many occasions, it's always a pleasure sitting virtually with you guys. You are highly appreciated. And good night to the people at home and abroad. Thank you for tuning in to this 193rd edition of the Belizean Affair. Mr. Chairman, I was sitting in the back here working on a little something, and I was also listening to your commentary. And I want to say that I cannot believe that we have no station, and let me be point blank like Panelists, and we are in a time of celebration, and these people, along with our present government, who is trying to abolish the 10th of September, calling it a myth. My cousin and I myself, and there's many others who know that this battle is well entered into history, not only in the UK but in other parts of the world. So anyone that wants to deem it a myth is because they are not seen eye to eye with what happened within our history. And I believe the get-go goal for that is a new identity.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to that new identity, we must get rid of what our country stands for. Mr. Chairman, with your privilege, I would like the people at home and abroad to hear this.
Yesterday, you saw the 226th anniversary of the so-called Battle of St. George's Key. The history of the 1798 event remains in dispute, as do the origins of the observance of the battle, which was first celebrated 100 years later in 1898. But since then, it's been a cornerstone of national celebration, and yesterday was no different.
General, salute!
Acting Prime Minister Cordell Hyde presided over the event, which the POP have struggled to come to terms with as a colonial construct. Indeed, it had all the trappings of officialdom, and the mayor embraced fully what men in his party call a myth.
Here we gather to honor a pivotal moment in our history, the Battle of St. George's Key. A battle that was not only fought with courage, but fought with hope and a vision for a future where we, the people of this land, could craft a better destiny. 226 years ago, the baymen, freemen, and the enslaved found it important to stand united and firm against a mighty force. They fought not just to defend their property, but to preserve a dream of a land where we could all live free, where our future would be our own to shape.
Minister of Culture Francis Fonseca was far more restrained in his remarks, accepting the date but never embracing its historicity.
As we mark the 226th anniversary of the Battle of St. George's Key and prepare to celebrate the 43rd anniversary of Belize's independence, we are reminded of the incredible struggle and journey that has brought us to this point. We pay tribute to our great forefathers and national heroes on whose shoulders we stand. Let us honor the sacrifices of those who came before us by building a Belize that is stronger, more just, and more united. Together, we can rise to meet the challenges of our time and fulfill the promise of 1798 and 1981.
Now, Mr. Chairman, if the Battle of St. George's Key is a myth, then also the 1859 treaty is a myth, because they go hand in hand inside each other. So anybody who wants to call the battle a myth is calling the 1859 treaty a myth. And my cousin know exactly what I'm speaking about. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. On the same very point you just expounded on, I'd like to say also what can duly and rightfully be called a myth within the context of their perspective. That is that we Belizeans are here today because of a myth. As a matter of fact, we don't even exist according to these knuckleheads and jackals and hyenas and vultures who have their own agenda as to what is it that they're stipulating. That is that only independence to Belize is not a myth. And only the people that head the country of Belize at the time of its independence are valid patriots, are people who helped us to gain our independence. When in fact they leave out many of the other personalities and persons that helped those particular individuals that they want to aggrandize as being the major proponents of us Belizean being where we are today by virtue of these other individuals' effort. Because their effort, according to these jackals, is not a myth. Their effort constitute no bloodletting to gain our independence. There was no battle for Belize's independence, according to them, because of their level of ignoramusousness and ignorance about the facts that led to the independence of Belize being declared. If only they were true students of history and would read valid history rather than make up stories to justify aggrandizing one or two individuals while they're leaving out all the substantive reasons why Belize is here today as regards to the Battle of St. George's Key, which was only one battle, by the way. We would not be here today. We're not, because the Spaniards were beaten back and never came back for another dose of the same medicine. But we now have the Guatemalans targeting Belize because they have encouraged us and our leaders to be anti-British, who are the people who had kept us for 200 and odd years in good stead, to the point where we could have then inherited the status of our independent Belize. And they go further. That is that the implementation of the 17 proposals, the heads of agreement, the non-border and what they call facilitation for the
adjacency zone.
Adjacency zone, and the special agreement that they signed with Guatemala to facilitate getting us to the ICJ in order to overrule on or abrogate or get rid of our 1859 treaty. Because a Guatemalan, many years after they had signed that treaty, during the course of just the past century, had decided that they don't want to honor that treaty anymore. The Guatemalans have never honored any treaty, neither with Belize, with the British, with the Hondurans, who they currently hold Puerto Barrios and other parts of Honduras territory. They have never honored any treaty with Mexico, other than the fact that because Mexico imposed its will on them. They have never honored any treaty with the Salvadorians, with whom they had a war, which is why the Article 7 of the 1859 treaty could not be implemented because they were in war with El Salvador, always trying to take other people's territory, and now they're trying to provoke us into having a war with them because they have 16 million people and we have less than 500,000 at home and probably another 500,000 abroad, less than a million people. So they feel like, oh, okay, the war that you say you won in St. George's Key, let's start that war all over again and see who's gonna win. That is the attitude of the so-called Guatemalans and their fifth columnists that they have in our country, working us over and over and over to the point of even gaining favor with some of our leaders. Why do you think Mr. Hyde had to act as temporary prime minister? Why didn't the prime minister, in his own vestiges as prime minister of this country, honor this country on the day of the day that Belize actually won its independence, rather than on the day that they declared independence for Belize, which that date had nothing to do with any of the history of Belize prior to them imposing it on the Belizean people? They could have just as well used the 10th of September, which was a valid, recognized day, as the date for our independence. They could have used many other dates that are historically valid and important to our country. But no, they choose to use what is now being revealed and have been revealed as an appeasement to the Guatemalan country. The 9, which is September 15th for Guatemala's Independence Day, and its original 1820, I think it was 1822, when they declared their independence. That is a sequence of numbers that Mr. Price had actually put in place that they figured nobody would have interpreted and be able to understand why is it that they had chosen that unimportant day to Belize to become the most significant and important day for Belize, as part of the implementation of Belize becoming the 23rd district of Guatemala and or a vassal state of Guatemala. They don't teach these things in school. They don't teach our young people it. They don't, or elderly people who knew these things are dying out. And the young people have no knowledge and understanding or awareness as to what is it that constitutes a valid and justifiable reason for us claiming to have a right to this part of our patrimony. They want us to have a new identity. They want to dispense with our current constitution and to create a new constitution under which they will allow the people to vote for one of them as head of state. Which one of them is going to put their neck on the line and talk to the Guatemalans with any level of fortitude or any level of speaking truth to power, being Guatemala the power, and we the Belizean speaking the truth, that they have no right to be harassing our people now or in the past or in the future, and that they have no right to be coming over our side of the boundary which they recognize and to come and aggress our people on our side of the border with weapons in hand and fingers on trigger. And these idiots that we have as governance officials are going to be blaming all local Belizean people whom the Constitution says that the government have no power or authority to stop any born Belizean from transiting from one side of this country to the next, from north to south, east to west, and or from going out of this country and or from coming into this country. They are going to declare those people as being the ones causing the Guatemalans to come over our side of the border and aggressing us. What kind of asinine behavior and attitude is that? Now, we are not espousing or advocating having a war with the Guatemalans, but we have international forums and we have the CARICOM aligned group. We also have the United Nations. If we can't get headway in the Organization of American States, which of course we have gotten headway because we have gotten as far as becoming the second most powerful person in there. But that doesn't stop and hasn't stopped the Guatemalans then from encroaching on our territory, burning down our Chiquibul and other forests, stopping our military people from going to their border checkpoints, While for we government to sit down in Guatemala to drink cocktail that is laced with troop serum, having themselves been spilling all of Belize's national secrets, telling the Guatemalans that we only have 1 hour worth of bullets to fight them, and all this kind of craziness, and that, we don't have no border with them, that there's just a imaginary line there, and it's not a natural border. All this craziness by both mass parties I'm talking about. Because you can all recall in bits and pieces what I'm saying and contextualize it, and it covers both parties. They're all traitors to our country. Now we have the present government with such a large majority and the present opposition with such a small minority flustering among themselves, trying to make themselves less relevant to the task that is their own burden, having taken on that burden willingly and being paid for it and not doing the job. What the hell is wrong with these people? If they don't want to do the job, at least the least they can do, don't take the payment. Leave our damn treasury alone and leave our money and stop the pressure people to come up with money, to pay one of the salaries, for job or work one or another do. You cannot be paid as an opposition. And worst of all, one split up on yourself and take away the payment from some of the members of the opposition that is duly elected by connivance, so that you could turn around and have somebody else fit in those positions and collect those pay while still not doing the damn job. Straighten up, get the job done right, or step aside. I'll deal back for right now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm getting hot on
Thank you,
the
Leonard.
collar.
Guys, my people, both at home and abroad, I'm saying, I could speak for the first, second, third, and some fourth generation of born Belizean, right? We know how it used to be, how we used to live, and what was the norm, what was respected in this country, and what was, patriotic. But for the new young leaders, right, we see now that I would say that they're watering down, for instance, where you said the 10th of September, then they water it down, right? Nothing seems to be patriotic anymore as in Belize. It makes me wonder, guys, what is these guys' agenda, right? And they don't care. They go about saying it publicly, right? Like, for instance, just 10th of September is a myth, and apparently we shouldn't be celebrating that, because you listen to the young lady, the news, how she start off her program, right? Like so-called 10th of September, so-called. I'm just saying these things, because it shows you the beliefs today, Greg, and then it shows you the beliefs today and the mindset today.
They're well educated and they have talent, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
They have talent, because that young lady is supposed to be a well educated and talented person, and still ignorant at the fact of the news that she's actually trying to peddle and bring to us.
I say this.
So-called.
I say this to say that I am begging them to go and do some research. Go back in history. I don't know why you were born, Miss Lady, your news lady. I don't know where some of the younger politicians, and I know some of them are born here. And, if you're not born here, you shouldn't have allegiance to this country, right? And you shouldn't worry about how the Battle of St. George's Key happened and all that. You shouldn't worry about that, right? Just that you don't want a minister, you don't want a head of state, or you don't want, a politician, and you're entitled to say whatever you want to say, and people will adhere to what you say. But you are all fifth colonists, right?
Exactly.
Right? You are not patriotic, but it's so sad that you don't want to be patriotic and you don't want to go back in history, but you don't want the taxpayers' money, right? You don't want to be living high and mighty and powerful in this country of Belize, right? But yet you don't want to be patriotic. No, I call on the government. This government now, this PUP government now, right? I don't forget. I forget the past one, right? Because we don't have none of that right now, right? But I call on this Belizean government, man. When you go back to the Guatemalan border and you go across and to the palace and you sit down, you drink whatever you drink with the president of Guatemala, have some balls, have some guts, and tell the man you are very patriotic Belizean, and hear what, Mr. Man, the aggression in the Stone have to stop. I know they beg you, and they try to tell you it has to stop. So I beg you, Mr. Man, have some balls, have some guts, be patriotic, and enough is enough. Because patriotic Belizean, bound Belizean are getting tired of that. Right? And you, Mr. Man, that the person who should rightfully be advocating in behalf of the Belizean people. You should take our problems to whoever. That's why we pay you, Mr. Man and Mr. Foreign Minister. That's why you get paid. That's why you have that title. You don't got no backbone. You don't got no guts. You don't got no balls. So when you, Mr. Man, stand up to the president for telling these things, what is wrong with you, man? What is wrong with you? So, Mr. Man,
I'll use the same young lady word. These so-called leaders appear to be captured. They appear to be operating as captured agent on behalf of foreign entities, not on behalf of Belize. Who is paying them?
So, Mr. Man, I say this, you know, people in other countries, they take you for a mockery, you know, for a mockery. When you behave that kind of way. You say, what kind of leader this man? For them things they happen in a country, and you know they bring it forward. You know they talk about it. You know they tell whoever they do it to them, make them stop doing it. They are making a mockery of you, Mr. Man. And I don't know where they're right now. For all I know, you must be there right there again. Right? I don't know. But there you go again, you run. As the elected Prime Minister of this country, you should inform the nation where you're going.
Exactly.
Right? Unless maybe I'm wrong.
Unless you deal with some more powerful people and we know about.
So, you know, my people also, you know, we talk about issues that directly affecting our people. You know, too much killing. Right? The killing and you know, so sadly that, you know, just they happen. Right? And to every time you hear them say that we have it under control, right? It better than when the UDP had it. And it better now, and then they give some statistics. But yet, people are being murdered every day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, right? And yet, we don't have the audacity to come to the nation and the world that we don't have the crime and violence under control and drugs under control in a Belize. Man, you know, how stupid. That's stupidity. Because as you know the talk, one more that they commit. Right? As you know the talk. And again, sadly, too much domestic violence on our women and our children are happening in this country. Too much. Right? We don't need to do better now. Right? We don't need to. And yet, sadly, we don't do. Maybe we don't do it. We're going to make some other laws again. Bogus state of emergency, Mr. Man. A lot of crime that happen in the north, right? Why you not call a state of emergency in the north? Why don't you do that?
Never happening.
Mr. Johnny Briceño, right? Do that because there's too much crime happening in Orange Walk area and the Corozal area in the north, right? Too much. And now they talk no foolishness and they talk nothing when it happen. Right? And double murder yesterday, a double murder in Corozal. And was perpetrated by a policeman. Whether he is still in uniform or was out of uniform or whatever. Policeman. Right? So,
where is the state of emergency?
Mr. Police Minister, I would like to hear you on that, you know. I would like to hear your take on that. Or maybe then they lie upon the policeman, right? But sadly, the two person that he killed died. No, they dead, right? So let me see how we justify that. Because every time a policeman commit one crime in this country, you, Mr. Policeman, on got pain a belly right away and on figure out how to justify that. How the words when they use for the media, right? When they set to the media to justify or to hide, cover up, need to stop it, right? You need to do better than that, okay? Now, what is the government doing on crime?
Mr. Chairman,
are they doing enough? Go ahead,
Mr.
go ahead,
Chairman,
Greg. Go ahead, Greg.
Godson, the Godson, Mr. Chairman, the good Godson.
Say again, Greg.
That the Godson is that about, man.
Oh, I thought you talk about Godson. Oh, yes, yes.
Or learned lawyer, commissioner.
Yes.
That refused to do his job, but he always collect his salary.
You see plain cover up, Greg and Leonard and my people, right? And it's so sad, you know, because with me the norm is that Gregory and Leonard, if you have some employees that work for you, you're a boss, right? You give them their work orders, and then go do something out there. Who you think will look bad? Who you think will look bad? So, you know, it's only right for them to try to cover up so that they don't look bad. We see it play out all the time. The police out of San Pedro, the other police and killing, and the people when they find hang up in the jail cell and all about, and the police shooting and all. You see how they in line and they try to justify.
And the pistol whipping and the killing of even officers,
yes,
and the shooting of even the commissioner's house, and the killing of officers down the Roaring Creek there. And
so,
we get close to Haiti.
First thing, the video, that video. That video me wrong, and then they pieces up that video and then they tie it up and to make man, you no need to stop it, you know, right? You no need to stop it,
cynics,
right?
Cynical.
So no wonder my good learned man, Mr. Dickie Bradley, attorney at law, is having a field day, and all the other attorneys. But he, of course, he is having a field day because of wrong, because of the cover-ups and because of the wrong thing do. Right? If we do the right thing, Dickie Bradley will have a very hard time and win, right? Win cases, right? If we do the right thing, right? So, you know, enough for the crime, man. Enough for the social ills. Lot of social ills in this country. Social ills. Right? So, Mr. Government, the money we want to take, they bring the artists. This is just my little contribution, right? And they do them promotion and they have them then jump up and, you know, supply with weed and supply with liquor and supply with barbecue and supply with and pay off the artists and do all the things we do to bring these people in this country. Put that money into good use where the poor people, the needy people, people in poverty, people that needs, and buy some medication, right? Buy some Tylenol, buy some antibiotics, buy some much needed.
Some basic tape to hold on the things.
Yes.
So you don't have to use the whole dirty tape all over again.
Put that money
something like that
into things that the people will benefit off, man. right?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
So, go ahead, Greg.
Mr. Chairman, I want to piggyback on what you are saying, but I will go beyond what you are saying. The money they are putting into this concert that they claim they are not putting there for economical gain. Why can't you pay these people their pension trust? These same grandmothers and grandfathers who
Exactly.
you want to pass law to command them to take care of their grandkids if the mother and father can't do it. Now imagine this government and this newscaster trying to call for historic battle a myth.
So-called.
Let me say what is not a myth. No, let me
Oh,
get down to the
man.
real deal. The international airport is not a myth under this collapse. BTL is not a myth. The port of Belize is not a myth. And I can continue to go on, Mr. Chairman,
But,
because
but
whenever this
Greg,
fellow gets into
Greg,
power,
go directly to the young lady. She would deny that she's a myth. If anybody was to say that she don't know what she's talking about, and somebody want to argue the point that said maybe she wasn't the person that said what she said. You can't blame her because she didn't say what we are saying that she said, or anybody else would say that she said, because what she said is not correct, and she would have been correct because she's a learned and a smart person and a good reporter. Of course, she's reporting what somebody else writes. I don't know if maybe she writes her own report, because when I used to work in a new editing room, we do the editing and somebody else do the
with
talking.
all due respect, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Brackett,
So,
that
Carl,
young lady right there, if she was in America, you know what happened to her?
long time.
Soon.
You know how much people would be getting on her case if she
Exactly.
was to, for example, say the independence is a myth. Just
Okay.
imagine, she needs to recorrect herself and on the next news, apologize to the citizenry of this country,
Then too
of
big for
this
that, brother.
jewel.
Then too big for that.
Okay?
So,
From the fact that they're there to do what they
So,
did
Mr.
shows that
Chairman,
they're too
as I
big to
was
do that.
saying, time and time again I have
Sarah was
stated,
interjecting, Greg. Sarah was upsetting your thoughts,
no,
brother.
no problem. But time and time
Mm.
again I have stated that past and present government is not good. They are failing at external and internal policies, especially the present one. But I'll tell you what they are good at, Mr. Chairman. They are good at this.
The Minister of Natural Resources signed a notice of intention to compulsorily acquire Stake Bank Island.
But they're acquiring it for a private company. How do you acquire land for a private multi-million dollar Honduran company for a public purpose?
There is no public purpose. This is just the definitive agreement 3.0. GOB weaponizing their power to take land from Belizeans and give to foreign interests. This kind of thing has never happened in Belize. Do you know where it has happened? Cambodia, Ethiopia, the Philippines, and Peru. These dictators and communists took land from their people and gave it to foreign companies. And now Belize is doing the same. Government overreach, prioritization of foreign interests over national and local interests, and a shocking lack of transparency and consultation. This is a dangerous precedent, and now Belize must be added to this list of nations with their history of land expropriation.
No, the state is stealing his land, stealing his land, stealing his land.
That's what they are good at, Mr. Chairman.
well said. Well said, Truth. Well said. So,
Mr. Chairman,
thank you there, Greg. You
I
know,
know I haven't
is
weighed in, Mr. Chairman. I know I haven't weighed in substantively yet on the discussions. I know I've been interjecting and taking or
Let me.
asking for.
I'll give you right now.
No,
Let
no.
me just.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
yes, but I was going to say that I didn't want to take that much more time. I just wanted to make some small comments. But I'll yield back to you, sir. As
Yes, and I'll give it.
okay.
I'll give it back to you. Okay. So, my people, we've seen it. So I ask: is your government doing enough for you and doing enough on crime? We are seeing too much social ills. Too much. Instead of the system promoting artists from abroad and doing big concert and all in the name of you know whatever they do, right? Put that money, like I said, into fixing the social ills, and we have a lot of that, right? And sadly, the government, you need to put people to work, right? And you need to stop using the BPO as a government agency, right? We don't need to stop that because the BPOs are private businesses, right? So now they say that they promote jobs and then because send people a BPO and things. Now they promote, now they create them jobs, right? So stop fooling the people. Need to create jobs for the Belizean people because that's your mandate and that's what the people are paying you to do, right? And please stay out of private business. Mr. Man, you say, interfere in a private business, but the world is see you different, right? The people I believe see you different from what you said, okay? So I say, Mr. Man, create some jobs, right? Law and order in this country, we don't have that, right? We need to protect the citizens of this country from external and internal aggression. They do that, right? Sadly, right? You need to take our people or show some attempt that you will take them out of poverty. People are slipping into poverty every day, daily, and the numbers they rise, right? But what we don't want to do, we don't want to keep people poor and dependent on the politicians, right? Corruption and greed need to stop, Mr. Man. Enough of that, right? The power, the office, hold, got a lot of power. Stop the use it for no personal gain. Stop the use it for no personal gain, right? And help no cronies and friends. That's not what the people elected Uno to do. So Uno all fail on the things that the people had elected Uno to do. Fail. But why you don't have the big balls? Well, because that the super majority, don't condemn the UDP, the opposition that sitting like nothing not happen with them. So who dare to contest Uno? Who dare to put up, right? And stand toe to toe with Uno. Right? So that's what Uno the yarn for. Right? But as right now, they do the things that they do to the people because of we do not have an opposition in this country. So, my people, I say this to please, only you can save the people. The people can save the people by electing a new system. And I will throw it out there for the next election again. Please support in the next election the Belizean Justice Movement, right? Support them. They are not a PUP, nor not a UDP. They are a new entity. Give them a chance, right? So I say this to say that that's why the PUP the back hard, guys, because there is no opposition, right? No opposition. So they do unto us whatever they want to do unto us. So my people, only you, the people, could save and could make that change. Now, Leonard, back to you.
Yes, sir.
You
Thank
have
you
the
very much,
floor,
Mr.
Leonard.
Chairman. Thank you very much, sir.
That's what I just
Um,
wanted to say.
Thank you. My present concern is our country is going deeper and deeper into a sense of destructive malaise, where the state of mind of the people is such that those who can cut it or make it are happy, go lucky people. Those who can't cut it or make it are frustrated, hungry, tired, you know, and some of them are even just fatalistic, because they are in a position where they have to be trying to go from day to day to scratch out one survival, that they don't have time for very much more. And the survival when they scratch out, every day they go to the market, the following day they go back, they have to find a way to scratch more money because everything higher, the price is higher, the tax is higher. Even though the taxes when they pay, now they go straight to the government coffers. A lot of it is being pilfered, it's being stolen. It's not. As a matter of fact, there are charges being made to customers in some stores for GST, which does not then reach the treasury of the country, which is where it belongs. Why? Because it's stolen off the top. First of all, some non-recording of sales to the government so as to justify not paying in those taxes. And the government does not do its due diligence, send out its employees to do checks. Well, of course, recently they did a little bit of it, but they're not consistent enough in following through with this process, which is how government puts the fear in the merchants to do the right thing. Our merchants keep stealing from our customers and our population, and they steal from the government as well. And the government could care less. Why? Because the government is elected by the money where some of these merchants then provide them for political campaigning. In other words, to hell with the Belizean treasury, other than just to fleece it when the chance or the opportunity presents itself. Back to you, Mr. Chairman. That's my
Thank you.
for the
Greg?
night, sir.
Go ahead, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say this to the people at home and abroad. Yes, we do have a government in power with a supermajority, but I want the folks to know who vote them in, that if an invasion happens, you will suffer just like the other rest of us. A prime example is what is happening in Israel as we speak. The Israeli people are rising up against this government. And I look at the news today, the international news, where 500,000 Israelis took over government and Tel Aviv, that the Prime Minister had to run out of Tel Aviv, probably went to an underground bunker. That is simply saying, even when I vote for you, if you are not doing the people's business and not doing what is right up, it can come back to harm you. Another thing I want to say, because Guatemala, we can fight them, is a myth. Because for years, the American bombs and the Israeli bombs have been bombing people of Palestine, and they still cannot achieve their agenda. In fact, Israel is losing against Hamas terribly. They have not gained any ground more than just destroying buildings, and they will not succeed in getting rid of an idea. So people at home and abroad, I just want you to keep that in mind. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Leonard, you want to take 3 minutes, and then I will take the other two to close out. Go ahead, Leonard.
Okay, and so um, I have a very simple and basic question or a premise. With all the hell and pulling of away economy to benefit just a few, why does the people who we elect as government officials or in governance have to mistreat the population or the people or the country the way they do, with such level of contempt? As a matter of fact, I'll go a little further. Criminal contempt. And why I say criminal contempt is because the level of contemptuousness causes people to suffer criminally, criminal negligence. Why is it that these people have to find it in their heart and their mind to not do a little better than they're doing? It shouldn't take them that much more knowledge, effort, or, what I said, much more talent. Belize is a small country. And we know any less talented than any other country in the world. As a matter of fact, I would venture to say that Belizean, because and by virtue of its smallness and its population of Belizeans in the world, is a hell of a talented country and has done greater things than countries who, on the same level of average population, has not succeeded in doing. We have the competence, capability, and willingness to be able to do better. So why does our politician and political minded people have to treat the country? I say like a sewage system, but we have one sewage system right now at Belmopan where some people they say it's so good that you could bathe in it, but then it wouldn't go in there. They would have put fishes and so on in the sewage pan because the sewage pan is so well kept and taken care of. There's no health hazard deriving from it. So they can afford to put a tertiary level hospital, one of the only ones that at that time when it's finished would be the best one in the country, as a matter of fact, at that particular location. Why are we treated with such level of contempt? The money is stolen anyhow. As a matter of fact, it's already stolen. Why can't they find it within their own mind and hearts? Okay, the land now belongs to government after we super paid for it. Continue to build a hospital where it was supposed to have been built in the first place, in a much safer and healthier place, close to the UB where it was said it was supposed to accrue to the benefit of the university, producing as a student hospital for them to teach medical practices, and for UB to have a little bit more control over it. Because I'm telling you right now, if they go ahead and build that hospital at that sewage place, not only will the people coming to that hospital end up getting sick, but that hospital at some point in time, they're not under UB control, because UB will not be owning and controlling that land. The government just buys it back at an inflated price, so the land will belong to government, unless they at some point will give it to UB free of cost, which I don't think that will happen, not under this type of government or this present government. The bottom line is that hospital will be made a public hospital initially to become a private hospital later. Especially when the IMF start telling you got to sell your assets before we give you any money. It happened in the Musa administration. And as soon as this administration come in, things that happen that when it happened in the Musa administration 10 times as worse. So we have learned nothing, we have gained nothing other than nefariousness and evil actions on the part of these people, without any real justifiable reason for them to be treating our country and people the way they are. Because they can still continue to steal the money, just give us better service. Some of them will end up in jail sooner or later. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Leonard. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Greg. It's always a pleasure to sit in your company, Leonard. It's always a pleasure to sit in your company.
Same here, sir.
And
Likewise.
we give thanks and praise to the Almighty, for the energy He gives us, and for giving us another day so we could sit here and bring to the nation what we see is wrong and give us the energy to voice. So, to our people, both at home and abroad, special people at home, only you, the people, could save the people. And I say this to say that, I think, from my heart that we deserve better. And I know that we deserve better in Belize, right? But, to stop settling for less. Settle for, this. We are settling for nothing, right? We settle for some nice words out of the politician mouth. We settle for some liquor. We settle for some jump up, and we settle for some barbecue, and we settle for measly little nothing, a little $20 and a little $50. We settle, and we burden for the next 5 years. Burden, sweat, tears. Gotta stop, man. You deserve better, right? So take a look at your governing body, the body that governs, for been governing for the decades. What the UDP had done justice to, right? They deliver goods and service. The PUP, has they done good for you? Deliver your goods and service, make your lives better, make things better. You live in peace and harmony, right? We don't have to worry about Guatemala. We don't have to worry about the aggression. We don't have to worry about the police state we are in. We don't have to worry about the authoritarian state we are in. We don't have to worry about the amount of crime and violence in this country. Man, we deserve better, Better could be done. Better could be had. Only if we take the time out and stand up, and put these leaders in the right place that they should be, and always remember that you are the ones that are paying them, they're not the other way around. Then they work for you. Then they work for you, the taxpayers, the nation, the people. It shouldn't be for Ashcraft and the businessman, man. Shouldn't be. So it's wrong. So who does that? Who governs the way these people have been governing you? Who does that? Somebody with good intention? Somebody with love? Do you think Briseño and his minion have love for you? I could tell you the only time he has love for you is when he is giving you that $50 and that $20 to vote for him. That's the only time. After that, after you do that, you are doomed for the next 5 years, repetitious cycle. So, only you, the people, could make that difference and make that change. So look for your change. Look for your change in the next general election, if you want that change. On that note, I want to say thanks to our viewers and listeners, both at home and abroad, those who support us, those who view us, those who share our program. I want to thank them, always thank them from us to them, from the bottom of our heart. We thank them. And we look forward for Friday, the constitutional hour, right, where we keep educating our people, right? We're not like the so-called educational folks that was out there where they educate you about on rights. No, we don't tell them the truth from the Constitution, right? That you rightfully deserve, You only deserve to hear the truth, right? So on that note, I want to thank you guys, to, sit here, you know, advocating on a 3 days a week. We advocate for the people, for our nation, for the poor and less fortunate. We are about justice, equal justice. We want to see equal justice in this country. Not justice for only some. Some people get justice, the rest never get justice. So only you could make that change. And I want to thank you again for sitting with me here, guys, and look forward to being your company again on Friday. Before I leave, lastly, please, my people, support the Belizean justice movement. You just to hear me with this new trend now, please, right? Because I will continue to advocate, right, in behalf of the Belizean justice movement for the next general election. Whenever Briseño calls it, you will see the Belizean justice movement there. So we will be the only change. It will be there for you. On that note, I want to say good night. It's always a pleasure, guys. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Greg?